Hair, just like fashion, is not enough to completely make you look masculine. If you are a woman, you have inherent femininity about you. It is how you're created. All of that is feminine because you are a woman. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I run the blog called Mrs. Midwest. Today is an exciting, highly requested video about hair, feminine hair. I did a feminine style video back in the fall. Today we're really going to be breaking down feminine hairstyles and it's not as simple as it might seem on face value. Honestly, I think this topic has been requested for years now. I think a lot of you, I've talked about feminine style many times, feminine beauty tips, feminine in general advice, but I've never made a video about feminine hair, feminine hairstyles, haircuts, how to look more feminine with your hair. And that is for a pretty important reason, and it's because I just didn't feel like it was fully clicking for me yet what feminine hair was, because I feel very strongly that feminine hair is not just like one look, one style. It's not just long hair that makes a woman's hair look feminine. It's not just having a slight wave or blonde hair or light or highlighted hair or something like that. And so I've been pondering this topic for months now, if not years, in order to create the most informed video I can give you guys. I didn't want to just slap something together and say, hey, if you wear pink headbands, you're going to look feminine with your hair. I wanted to really dig deeper. So I spent time studying on Pinterest, looking through feminine hairstyles or just women that clock as feminine and then breaking down why that is. Do all of them have long hair? No. And that's why I wanted to take time. And so after I made my feminine style video, things really started coming into place for me, because in the feminine style video, I talked about how I could just tell you all, wear a pink princess dress and you're going to look feminine. But that's kind of a little bit like lazy advice, because pink and a feminine like silhouette and gauzy material, sure, that's going to make you look feminine, but it's not practical for every person. It's not practical for most of us for everyday life. And so how can we incorporate feminine elements for different kinds of styles, different kind of body types, etc.? If you've watched that video, that's a really good foundation for this one, because the concept is the same. How can femininity translate to our hair when we all have different hair growing out of our head? Hair, even more than style, I think is a very personal topic. It's very sensitive and it can be kind of triggering for people because we don't all have the ability to have like waist length hair. We don't all have the ability to have like a certain look, but I think femininity is accessible for all women, no matter what you have growing out of your hair. And today I'm going to illustrate that for you guys. I'm hoping to inspire you, not build a box around rules as to follow these rules and you're going to look feminine. No. If anything, today I want to just give you ideas for how you can elevate your look through femininity. And I trust if you're watching this video, you're interested in how to look more feminine with your hair. So I'm not really here to debate like the merit of looking more feminine. I'm just going to assume that you're interested in maybe playing up your femininity through hair. You're looking for tips. This is the place to find it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the preamble. I always give one, but we're gonna dive in. So feminine hair. You think it would be simple. You think I would plop down in this video and say, hey, let's just all get Disney princess hair. Let's all just get Rapunzel hair. Let's all put a tiara or a headband on. Let's all curl our hair and look like pageant queens or from the 1950s, and that's what feminine hair is. No, it's not that simple. Just like it's not that as simple as putting on a princess dress to have feminine style, that's the same thing with hair. Yes, you can pull together a ton of hyper feminine elements and have a feminine hairstyle, but we shouldn't be limited to that. We shouldn't be limited to the tiaras and the sparkles and the curls and all of that. Hair is a complex issue. It's like our height. If I was to say only feminine women can only be curvy or really petite, what does that mean for us girls who are 5'8"? That's tough. That's why I'm not going to assign femininity to we all have to look the same way, because first of all, that's boring. Second of all, that is not how God designed women. He designed us in all different shapes and sizes, and I think that illustrates his view of femininity. Like, the creator of the universe, who created women to be so beautiful, did not create femininity in this like Western 1950s box. And I know that might be a little complex coming from me. Like, you guys might look at me and say, oh, she makes femininity content, so I need to look like her. I need to be blonde. I need to have long hair. No, it's just this is what looks good on me. So this is what I do for me. And that's what I really want to bring home today. I want you guys to do what looks best for you. And it's going to be different, most of you, than what looks best for me. So by making a feminine hair video and putting my face in the video, I'm not saying look like me and you'll look feminine. It's just, this is what I have. So I'm going to give you guys different examples today to kind of, again, open that box. So to start out, I kind of thought about what is the most extreme version of feminine hair you can think of. And I came up with a certain style, and I'm going to scooch over so we have room for the photos in the video. So this style is going to include like curls and the whole like pageant style, Disney princess, like I mentioned. That is traditionally like a very feminine look. You have like even a tiara, like the addition of those accessories. And so by looking at examples of like the most feminine hair I could find, just like how I did in my style video, I broke down, okay, what elements create a feminine style? I've narrowed down the elements into 4 different influences. The first one is length. This is obvious, but feminine hair throughout history, traditional, blah, 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 has usually been long or some sort of length to it. Womanly hair is often associated with having that length. It's an obvious marker of femininity. Hold on tight though, because you can look feminine without long hair, so just keep watching, but that is the first element. The second element would be accessories. Adding in accessories can make a hairstyle look more feminine. Obvious examples would be like a beautiful church hat, turbans, or even like a crown, a tiara, headbands, but then you can also have clips, claw clips, and barrettes and all those kind of things. Not wearing accessories doesn't make you look masculine. I never really wear hair accessories. They kind of hurt my head. But if you do include these elements, it can kind of turn up the dial on that femininity. The third element I've identified is an element of softness. So with this, we're going to be moving away from kind of that very slicked, harsh, edgy kind of hair that you can see, or even like really sharp edges. Those kind of elements can lend masculinity to a hairstyle. So when we go more towards like a softer wave or a curl, or having softness around the face, softness in an updo, those kind of things, that can lend femininity to a hairstyle. And then finally, the last element is stylization. So the more styled a hair look is, the more feminine it kind of looks, because the more effort that goes into it, the intricacy, the details, the frou-frou-ness, if you will. Same as in fashion, when we apply that extra stylization to hair, it can look more feminine. So those are the 4 elements. We're gonna have length, accessories, softness, and then stylization. In contrast, when we look at examples of men's styles, just because a man has long hair does not make him look feminine, okay? There's going to be more elements at play, because you can have long hair as a guy, but you're typically going to see those guys in a more of like a rough kind of look. You're going to see them even with like a buzz cut, you know, that's a typical masculine style, short hair, etc. But long hair on a man does not make him look feminine. Usually they'll have it rough or even slicked back, sharp kind of hair. That's a masculine look. But this brings me to a very important core piece of this video, and that is the same thing I said in my style video. Hair, just like fashion, is not enough to completely make you look masculine. If you are a woman, you have inherent femininity about you. It is how you're created. It is in stuff you might not even really realize, like your bone structure, the softness of even something like your shoulders or your neck, your jaw, the way your eyes are, even your hairline, the texture of your hair, all of that is feminine because you are a woman. So it's going to take a lot more than short hair to take away your femininity. It's going to take a lot more than a really rough hairstyle to take away your femininity. And that's what's so fun about playing with feminine elements, either increasing or decreasing. We can accentuate different parts of our personality, different parts of our interests or creativity by playing with these elements. I can feel some of us huffing and puffing, kind of stressing out, thinking, I can look feminine with short hair. I can look feminine without hair accessories. I can look feminine with pin straight hair or slicked back hair. And absolutely, because like I said, your genetics is what lends to the ultimate femininity. So hair is not enough to tip the scale one way or the other. You can put an extremely feminine hairstyle on a man and he can still look like a man. You can vice versa put a really masculine hairstyle on a woman and she's still going to look like a woman. So my point today is not to demonize people who don't want to take part in any of these elements. So you want to slick back your short hair and have this super edgy look. You do not look like a man. It is not fully masculine. You're just playing up with masculine elements, maybe to accentuate some of your creativity, your style. So bringing back the quadrant I made for my feminine fashion video, we are going to have different types of hair on different parts of this scale. So we're going to have more vintage hairstyles. We're going to have more trendy hairstyles. We're going to have feminine elements and masculine elements. And I've already identified the 4 things we're going to be looking at, which is length, softness, accessories, and stylization. So say we play all of that up and we're going to have a super vintage version of that. You can see where I would place that on the quadrant. You can have a super trendy version of that, like a poofy Gen Z soft accessorized look. You can also have more of a classic style. And then on the flip side, we can look at icons, celebrity icons, and even world icons like Princess Diana have notoriously had short hair. Halle Berry. This does not make them look masculine. If anything, it was gorgeous, like accentuates stronger features, very flattering. And so again, this video isn't to say have Disney princess hair to look feminine. It's more so consider what's most flattering to you. Here's the elements we're looking at and go from there. For example, I am tall. I have very long arms and legs. You might not be able to tell that in video, but tall length is like a dominant trait of mine. So having longer hair is very flattering on me. I don't think all feminine women need to have long hair. It's just what's most flattering for me. If I was petite, I guarantee you I'd have swishy short hair. I think short hair can be a very classic style. You can have short hair in a classic kind of look, trendy, vintage, classic. You can have kind of the pin-up vintage short hair that's kind of just your ultimate bland hairstyle. That's just classic, middle of the road, kind of the equivalent of a jeans and a t-shirt for fashion. You'd have around like shoulder length, a little collarbone length hair, side part, middle part, slight wave, very simple style. Just like jeans and a t-shirt, this can be very flattering for a lot of people, but if you're looking to increase femininity really quickly, you can throw on a headband, you can curl your hair a little bit, add a little bit of softness, etc. I wanted to bring up the messy bun because this is a very common thing for a lot of people. Even claw clips, those are kind of the modern messy bun. The way to make these look a little bit more feminine would honestly be just to lend a little bit more stylization, because the problem with a super messy bun is it does kind of get into that like masculine energy territory. Messy bun is usually what long hair men go for. So in order to make it a little bit more feminine, maybe add some softness around your face, curl some face framing tendrils, bangs, a fringe would help, curtain bangs, those kind of things, or add a little bit of volume, maybe like curl the ends that peek out of the bun, those kind of things. Just take a little bit more detail and you would be shocked at how those small details really enhance the overall femininity of a style. Looking at softness as an element, I think this is a very important kind of thing. What am I talking about? Can you have straight hair and look feminine? How can straight hair girlies, you know, look extra feminine with their natural texture? I would say haircuts are a really great way to achieve a certain softness and movement to really like straight hair. If you have straight thin hair that's kind of flat, a mousse can like add some volume. I have to do that, and that can really add to that stylized kind of element of your hair. There's also examples of curly hair. Say you have really kinky, coily hair, 3C, 4C, whatever. adding, and you think, okay, well, I don't have the length she's talking about. You have the softness, and I would really just work on maybe stylizing every once in a while. You can add in braids, you can do different like things around your scalp, add in accessories, head coverings, those kind of things that can enhance femininity. Again, your natural hair, even if it is at its shortest possible, you are a woman, you're going to look feminine. Okay, so don't stress. I cannot bring that point home enough. Just because you don't check all the marks for each of these categories, it doesn't mean you don't look feminine. It doesn't even mean your hairstyle is not feminine. Again, I don't cover each category with my hair, but you can use these different elements to increase or decrease your style. A very popular style is kind of that slicked back bun look. And this can be a little bit edgy, but it kind of stays feminine because of the stylization of it. So even though we've lost the softness and maybe it's a small bun, so there's not a lot of length and there's not really a lot of accessories, you have the element of being stylized working for you. Okay, so you can focus on just one element of this. For example, with fashion, say you have a very androgynous outfit, you can add something like a pink purse, and that pink purse has a lot of mileage in looking extra feminine. With hair, an equivalent of that could be a hair accessory, or focusing on just a style, even just like a half up, half down, can increase your femininity, like your overall feminine look in a way that you might not even realize. I think it's important, like I always bring home in all my videos, to consider what you actually look like. This is going to be a little bit of big sister harsh truth, but when you pick out a hairstyle you like on Pinterest, make sure you're not choosing it because you want that girl's face or beauty. You have to know your own features. So I will use myself as an example. I have a blunt, kind of wider face. With this front kind of camera, it tends to shrink my face a little bit on camera, but I have a blunt, wide face. And so when I slick back my hair, it's pretty like harsh and unflattering, and it also reveals a weak hairline, and that's kind of like a masculine trait as well. And so what I go for is I soften my face and I soften my hair by having like the bangs, and I have like a little bit of curl, and I have volume because I know my face. And so as much as I see these photos of these beautiful women with slick back hair or short hair, I know that that would be either too harsh on me, unflattering, and it wouldn't look good. Okay, so I encourage you to consider your actual features. A lot of these women that can really pull off the super short hair or the swishy bob, they might have really delicate features or kind of like doe eyes or like really feminine look. Okay, so really consider what you actually look like before you take the leap of just totally cutting off your hair. And the reason I'm kind of fixating on hair length is because that's something that takes a really long time to get. Like if you cut your hair super short, it takes a long time to like even get like to here back. Whereas you can toss on like a barrette, you can toss on a headband, you can curl your hair to add softness, you can style your hair. So if you want to like maintain a little bit of femininity through length of your hair, just consider your features, consider what's attractive, and when you're styling your hair as well, be aware of that. Not every trend is going to be flattering for everybody. Not every like hairstyle is going to be flattering. I think I would have struggled in the like 1800s when we all had updos and curls and like our hair was pulled away from our face. I think I really would have struggled to look pretty back then. And so it's just knowing what you look like. I really think too, if you, at the end of the day, if you love something, if you like, say short hair, you know you look better with long hair, but you love your short hair, wear your short hair. It doesn't matter. Like, that's another thing with all this femininity content. At the end of the day, what's going to make you feel joyful and vibrant and peaceful and full of life, that's what enhances your femininity, okay? But if we are objectively looking at, like, without emotions, not talking about personality or character, if we're just objectively looking at what makes a hairstyle feminine, there is going to be these undercurrents and themes. So I'd say if you, like, just for blanket advice, if you guys are looking for a more feminine style, and say you do have a little bit of an uphill battle with like a more masculine cut to your face or body or look, big waves, short or long, those are just really good way to just enhance your femininity, or even half up, half down, curly hair, softness. That's what we want to get. That kind of romantic, ethereal vibe will increase your femininity. So if you want my permission to have 0% of these elements be feminine, and you want me to tell you you still look feminine, just know I am telling you that because you're a woman. So at the end of the day, that can also play a role. So say you don't play into any of those 4 elements, you can still look feminine through makeup, just like I talked about in my style video. Say you don't play up femininity at all in your outfits. I did this a lot postpartum. I wore baggy clothes, dark clothes, masculine clothes, but I had my hair and makeup done. So I still looked like myself. I still looked like a woman, pretty, whatever. The same thing with hair. If you totally don't play into femininity with your hair, you can still look feminine. It might take a little bit more effort with style and makeup and stuff like that, accessories, but it can be done with ease. So just to wrap it up, feminine hair includes the elements of length. It includes the elements of stylization. It includes the elements of accessories and softness. But having or not having one of these elements is not going to make you look masculine. In fact, it can be very flattering and it can be a choice. I do not wear head to toe feminine clothes all the time. I do not wear head to toe pink with pink purses and fluffy stuff and flowers. All the power to the people that do. It's just not my style. Same thing with hair. It might not be your style to have the bows and the length and the curls and blah, blah, blah. But if you want to enhance, if you want to increase, you know, say you have straight hair, cutting a bit of layers, getting a bit of softness, a bit of movement, not slicking back your hair into a Hailey Bieber bun, you know, might increase a little bit of that gentle romantic softness. Throwing on a hair accessory is one of the easiest hacks ever, like a headband, a bandana, a hat. And again, if you cannot achieve length, you either want and have short hair, or you have like a kinky coily style that has shrinkage or whatever, feminine hair, okay, we don't have to fixate on length. You have stylization, you have accessories and softness at your fingertips. Every woman, as God created us, has elements of femininity, and I'm sorry if I just brought that home too much in this video, but like I said at the top, I really believe hair is very sensitive. That's why I've never made this video until I felt totally informed and comfortable. So I just really encourage you to know that we are all made different and we are all beautiful in our own way. And when you work towards healthy hair, when you work towards something that's flattering for your beauty, and when you work towards something that really coincides with your personality, your creativity, and what you want to look like, it's going to be the magical secret recipe. And the magical secret recipe is going to look different for you than it is to me. I just so happen to figure out that like long hair works on me. If you think long hair might work for you, or you want to play up that feminine element of your hair, I do have a video about how I grew my hair out, and I've gotten great feedback from that. In the meantime though, I think every single person should be sleeping on a silk or satin pillowcase. Silk, of course, is the #1 choice. If you can't afford that, do satin. That is what really gave me the ultimate length. It helped my hair grow from like a chronic length of here all the way down there, and I cut off like a couple inches every so often. It also just helps your hair feel really shiny. If you have curly hair, it's very, very good for your hair. If you have straight hair even, it's really great for like decreasing breakage, which breakage can be really obvious on straight hair. So just a little PSA too at the end of this video, consider the health of your hair. Ratty hair does tend to look more rough. It does look a little bit more masculine. So yeah, you can have like long, rough hair. The length really plays into the femininity, adds some beads or whatever, looks feminine, it's fine. But if your hair is rough and messy all the time and it's just not flattering, it might be because that's just like a little bit of like an element that's not working for you. So working towards shine, working towards health, staying away from kind of that like look that men kind of wear can be really, really good. I just really think there's a lot we can do here. So really consider styling your hair, wearing that ponytail or that half up, half down. Instant girliness, adding a little bit of curl or movement with a haircut. Instant girliness. Softness to the face, you know, even like with a fringe or bangs. Instant feminine girliness. Length, again, instant girliness. And if all else fails, my friends, wear a tiara or a giant church hat, and I guarantee you're gonna look feminine. So I hope this was helpful. I just really want to encourage you guys to feel inspired with your own hair, with what's working with you. You know, if you have a certain texture of hair, pin straight, super curly, if you have a certain length, you can play up any of these elements to increase the femininity. It doesn't take much. It honestly doesn't, because we are women. God made us beautiful. And there is so many different like styles and types. And he wouldn't have made that if that wasn't his design. He wouldn't have made all these different types of hair growing out of our head if that wasn't his design. So just increasing your own beauty doesn't mean we're all gonna be walking around with like waist length blonde wigs. And just briefly, that's why I did not include color in this video. Your hair color has absolutely no impact on how feminine you look. Lighter hair, just because like wearing whites and lighter colors can sometimes look lighter and fluffier and more girly with fashion than wearing heavy, edgy colors, the same does not apply to hair in the slightest. I'm a big believer that your hair should be most flattering to your color season. Oftentimes that's a hair color similar to what we were born with. Sometimes it can be something completely different, like a beautiful red or a caramel blonde or whatever. Jet black. I remember growing up, I was like so jealous of like girls who had like super dark hair because I thought it was just like so pretty. So color has nothing to do with the femininity of your hair at all. It can be any color at all, as long as it like enhances your look. And that's kind of a little bit of a summary too of the style video and fashion. When we take into consideration feminine fashion, it's not as simple as just putting on like a print poofy teacup dress in pink, because that might be really unflattering to you. So having like super long hair might be unflattering to you. Wearing hair accessories might be unflattering to you. Me. Having overly stylized hair might be unflattering, or it could be like the best thing since sliced bread for you. So just consider, try different things out, and be encouraged. Add a little bit of softness with your hair. Style, that's something I need to get better at. I need to like throw in like a half up, half down more often. But that is the information I'm going to pack into this video. If you have any thoughts on this, if you have any advice, if you have any like perspectives from a short hair girly and femininity, or someone who relies on hair accessories a lot, or someone with a different hair texture than mine, leave your experience below for fellow women who can relate to you, because I always think that's really interesting and helpful, because as I always say, I can only speak from like my perspective of beauty. So thank you for watching. If you like this content, I have a lot of beauty content, but I also have these kind of like femininity videos where I break down the elements of everything. Most recently, my feminine style video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderfully blessed and creative week. Have fun with your hair. Throw in some softness. Maybe I'll put in a headband later today. But in general, I love you all. Thank you for watching, and yeah, have a great week.